And we've all seen the killing of George Floyd and what's gone on in our country, and just the call for change, and people want to be involved. And I believe this group of men and women are uniquely qualified to address this issue. First of all, they're law enforcement leaders, and they're also black men and women. So they can talk about it firsthand, the experience.
I would like to introduce the African American police chief standing with me today. This is a unique group that has well over 250 years of law enforcement experience and double that of life experience of being black men and women. We all lead our respective agencies, being very proud of both.
Prior to coming here, I spent 30 years with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department. And in some of the same communities, the same stuff that was going on 35, 40 years ago is going on right now in those impoverished communities. Think about it. It's interesting, everyone's engaged now. The lawmakers want to be involved in the businesses. And, you know, that's great. I welcome it. But my question is, why aren't you doing this before? Where were you all this time? It took these events for it to happen.
It isn't lost on us that we are hosting this press conference on Juneteenth. On this date, in 1865, African American slaves in Galveston, Texas, were notified that they were free, even though the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect 2.5 years earlier. We are standing before you today are proof that we have come a long way since 1865. And the unrest in our country is proof that we have a long way to go. Let me begin by stating very clearly that all of us here today fully recognize the role law enforcement has played in the historical roots of division in our country, the issue of race and difference. Let me also state that we are unequivocally dedicated to real change that will ensure that all segments of our community feel valued, respected, and treated fairly by law enforcement and society in general. We also recognize that law enforcement has often been utilized to enforce the injustices in our country, and we also accept the fact that we have a great responsibility to help heal our communities due to the immense power we possess, the power to take away freedom and life. We accept this responsibility and are dedicated to real change in our communities and across our country.
And there's a need for change. We want change, but we want to have smart change. And that is so important. And that's really what this is about. We've got to fix our underserved communities. We haven't done that. We haven't committed the resources. But for those underserved neighborhoods, the money has never been there, ever. So are you going to put a drop in the bucket now? Or are you really going to commit and put that money in for those kids? Because I'll tell you, these folks behind me will tell you also, those kids' lives will be markedly different if we invest in them. And we haven't in those neighborhoods up to now, in their neighborhoods of color.